Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are. We are back for another third time in 7 days, highly illogical podcast, but we've got so much to talk about. I am, of course, joined by my fellow Trekkies, myself, Boogeyman, and Zam. I don't know what your name is this week, Zam, because you guys told me to take the
I am
nameplates off.
I am Brigadier Chocolate.
Okay. What we're going to be talking about, as you saw, was the trailer for the season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. Do you guys want to talk about your thoughts on upcoming season 3 first, or do you want to get into the trailer first?
Let's see, show us the trailer again.
Okay, so I'm going to do.
I think Dixie might be joining us, Butt Crimes.
Oh, well, while we get this set up, then he can.
I'm ready to play it whenever you are.
Hold on, I'm getting it. Well, I can't make it so that his screen is bigger than all of ours without it being on mine. So we're just going to get into it, and you're going to have to enjoy it from this tiny little screen, or I can just make his screen full screen, and then you can tell me when to pause it and we can talk.
Do that. Make his screen the bigger one.
Okay.
I say you just tell me when to pause it.
Or yeah, tell him. All right, here we go. All right, go ahead and pause. So I just want to mention I'm not a huge fan of them going into the future, like that far into the future. I feel like they should have gone into present time, like Picard and post Nemesis, like post Romulan, Exodus and yada yada yada. So that's just my thought on that. So you guys, anything to add?
I'm actually the complete opposite of you. It's like what we were talking about the last time when it came to Star Trek, and you would ask the question about what would we want to see from Star Trek, like another. This is hopefully going to be close to what I was wanting. A future look of what happens to the Federation, a future look of what goes on. Yeah, it's not the temporal Federation or whatever it is, but it's still a look into the future of what could be, what probably happened, what didn't happen, but will get or what did happen but didn't or got changed, and so on. I think this is hopefully going to hit that niche for me.
Okay. And since we are breaked for a second, I'm going to be adding in our friend, Chief of Security Butt Crimes. Welcome to the show. A little bit late, but better late than never, my friend.
Yep, sorry about that.
That's okay. We're watching the trailer for Discovery. We're kind of doing this the same way we did the fan film. Boogeyman is playing it, so if you just want to say something, just go ahead and say pause. Sure. All right, let's get back into it.
I'm interested to see how the character layout happens with what's her name?
Michael?
Yeah, with Michael. Because so far in this trailer, she's already shown a lot more emotion than what she's shown before.
I do think that's better. I do like her a little bit more in this trailer than I have in the past 2 seasons. Like what I'm seeing so far. I mean, trying to portray her as this raised by Vulcan human. Just it never sat well with me, and I just don't think it should have been a thing.
Well, just regarding that, because some people say that she doesn't have much emotion, I don't mind that too much because of the fact that she was raised by Vulcans. So I can see it for that. She's still human, and then it's not like she doesn't show, like she has no emotion. She doesn't mind showing it, but I think she's very default and emotionalist person at the base of it, if you know what I mean. But this is only season 3, so we'll see where we go. Anyway, Dixie, you got anything to add regarding Michael Burnham?
Really. Unfortunately, I haven't really seen much of Star Trek Discovery, so I can't really comment a whole lot on it.
Okay. All right, let's continue. But then again, he's had a big arc for the last 2. But I also think regarding this season, it's a bit of, I don't want to say cop out, but as we were getting closer and closer to the big, to Pike in the first season, the first episode of Enterprise, I think they're worried about getting a bit too close to that. So let's just shoot him off into the future, and then boom. You know what? Fuck having them fly around in space and discovering shit. Let's ground them as well. I wasn't happy when seeing Discovery on that beach. I wanted them to be in space, not on the fucking ground. And when I see shit like that, I see cop out. That's what I see. Cop out. I don't know about you guys.
Well, it depends on how the ship got there.
Well, just for your information, I know we're going to spoil shit for you, but that's unfortunate now, Dixie. It got to the future. Look, without giving away too much, but the end of season 2 ended with Discovery having to go into the future. For what reason that is, when you watch Discovery, you'll find out yourself. But they had to go to the future at the end of season 2. Okay.
I hate whenever they do future episodes.
And so basically, the whole of season 3 is going to be set in the future. Now, I was telling Boberto that I thought they were going to be in the future for maybe one fucking episode, figure out with fucking techno jargon how to get back in the past, and then everything was going to go back to normal again. But that's not the case. It looks like they're going to remain in the future for the whole fucking season. Whether they stay in the future after that, who knows? But for me, I'll be honest with you, I like Discovery, but this trailer is not doing it for me. It's not doing it for me at all in any conceivable way whatsoever. I wanted these guys to be coming across new shit in space, but I see them on the ground a lot, and that for me, I don't like. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I don't mind the fact that they're actually exploring planets and stuff like that, actually exploring them instead of just, going from point A to point B in their spacecraft. So, but I'm not a huge Discovery guy, so I don't know much about it, unfortunately.
I mean, for me, I don't mind it. I mean, maybe they're only going to spend the first couple of episodes. I think that they're going to have to go somewhere, because you saw in that trailer that they ran into Andorians, they ran into... Yep. So I mean, maybe the first couple episodes will be on the planet, and then they make it off to somewhere else. I mean, there were definitely other ship shots in there that weren't on Discovery. So I think they're going to make it off-world, but I think maybe the first 2 episodes, maybe even 3, will be based on the planet and them finding people and whatever. I mean, if that is Earth, I don't even know. I couldn't tell if it looked like Earth when they were kind of coming out of the portal and they were crashing and landing.
Good point.
I don't even know if that's Earth, so it might just be an old Federation outpost that was reworked into a marketplace. And I mean, because you got the rough-looking Andorians and stuff like that. So think. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just like the fact that there isn't an overall idea of what this season's bringing us. I do like that, because with the last 2 seasons, there is an overall narrative for each show. It's not really episodic. It's serialized. So not knowing what this show is going to offer us while they're in the future, they're just showing us all this shit and they're talking about all this bollocks, and we kind of got an idea of what's happened to this future regarding the Federation, but we still don't know what the fuck is going on. Now, my money is on the fact that because it looks like the Federation has come to a halt, or it's almost fallen apart, these guys are going to kickstart it again.
Well, the Federation is gone, is the inkling that I got from the trailer. Like,
mainly gone. Like, there's still remnants of it, but it's nothing like it once was, in my opinion. Nothing even comes, not even close to it. So I think they're going to kickstart it again, and make leave their mark for the future, so to speak, before going back in time, if they ever do go back in time. But
I was about to say, sure, I don't think they will go back in time, because I think somewhere in season 2, and I don't remember because I've only watched season 2 once, but I feel like somewhere in season 2 that someone said that on that day, the Discovery disappeared, never to be seen again, yada yada yada.
Yeah, so that's bollocks.
So I mean, it's kind of like the whole Sousa thing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They kind of were pulled out of time until the 31st century or whatever, and so now they're back. And it's like, but they're gonna be gone that whole time. They're not going back, as far as I know.
Do you feel? I'm sorry, Chris. You got anything to say? I apologize. I'm hogging them.
Um, I, this is one of those things. It can go both ways. They could really butcher the show with this, or if they do it right, it could really add to the Star Trek thing as a whole. It could really add to this if they do it right.
I feel like they could have done that if they went to Picard timeline, like Picard time. I mean, this I think is just going to be. They're going so far in the future that it doesn't matter so much as to what Picard does and what what other series do, because they're so far in the future that it doesn't matter. I mean,
I know about Picard, by the way. I know about Picard. I know about Data.
Did you finally watch it, or
no? I got info dumped. I looked into it. I just couldn't get myself to watch it. I'm really sorry, but I just wanted to find out what happened. So if I go into season 2, I'll be a little bit more informed. But basically, Data his conscious was still alive, and he wanted to be laid to rest, and that really just comes down to it. And I knew it'd be some sort of bullshit like that. But seeing old Data as well, honestly, it's just such. The fact that they couldn't like do something to his face to make him look younger with the computer technology nowadays is a joke. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that too much. Let's just move on.
Well, there never was an old Data on there.
yeah,
No, but he looked old. He looked old, because Brent Spiner is an old guy. So he just looked wrong. Like an old android. It just looked so stupid. It looked stupid right up to fucking Insurrection, into Nemesis. What the fuck are the names are? Nemesis. He's all baggy under the eyes and shit. You watch season 1 of Next Generation, the guy fucking hasn't got a wrinkle in his face whatsoever. It just looks stupid. So anyway.
Yeah, but there's only so much they can do with that, really.
I totally understand, but I wish they kind of brought it up in stories saying, I think I might age myself so people will appreciate me more. You could say something like that, and then
they don't have that uncanny valley effect.
Yeah.
With the android.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
anyway,
he did do that in the series finale in not Best of Both Worlds, All Good Things.
Yes,
he put the gray in his hair.
Yeah, but then that timeline never existed.
Yeah, that did kind of cancel it out, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I know.
I agree. But I'm just saying as well,
I can't remember the episode. Was there an episode or a part in the movie where he actually wished to age instead of just, be immortally Data?
No, not that I recall. But Next Gen's not really a strong suit.
But regarding this, I've got a lot of ideas popping through my head. They might think to themselves, okay, the way Star Trek was shown before, with so much industrialized technology we had at the time, right back to the 90s even, you look at Star Trek then, it just looks wrong because, that's supposed to be the future, yet they're using fucking shit which wouldn't be used in the future because it looks like it's from the fucking 90s, because it was made in the goddamn 90s. So maybe they can give the futuristic look now that they want to give to Star Trek by having it set almost 1,000 years in the future. And then maybe they could take Star Trek to a whole new level now, whole different dimension by setting it thousands of years in the future. If they stay in the future, so we get a whole different vamp, like a revamp to Star Trek even, if they rebirth the Federation and shit like that. Who knows? No? You can't see where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from for that.
Yeah.
But there's like 1,000 years of progress. Well, it depends too. It depends on if the Federation actually progressed or if it regressed like the Roman Empire did.
I feel like, 1,000 years worth of technology, it's just, I don't know.
It takes this one movement of religious fanaticism to fuck that right in the ass out.
I don't know.
Well, they might have religious fanaticism in this. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be really upset if they do that though. Like, some savior from our past comes into comes to our time or some shit like that, or some bollocks like that. I really don't want any of that. Yeah, prophecies. I don't want any of that in this fucking season at all. Be original for fuck's sake. Come up with different concepts. Don't do this prophecy shit. And I don't want that. You know, and that concerns me as well. With these people with Discovery coming to this timeline. And what the fuck is a prehistoric ship from that period going to do 800, 900 years later to leave such an impact? I don't understand.
Well, I think that's why they crashed the ship, because I don't think the ship's going to be involved very much. I think it's just going to be maybe like where they stay in the beginning, their shelter. But I think eventually throughout the season they're going to move away from Discovery, and they're going to move away from Discovery, and then they're probably going to be doing other things in the galaxy, or they'll get another ship and they'll call it the Discovery or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Very, very much a possibility, a new ship. I mean, the ship they've got right now, I mean, it feels too relatively new for them to scrap it already. We did see it crash. Do you think it will come off the ground again?
I think it will.
I mean, it didn't look like they landed it. It looks like it fucking crashed.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we saw that they were shooting the ground underneath it, probably to try to flatten it out a bit.
I have a feeling it's going to be like first 2-3 episodes are going to be them like taking shuttles, finding advanced technology, upgrading the ship. That gives off that feel that that's what's going to happen.
Well, they better hope. I mean, they were so happy from that trailer that there's life on that fucking planet. They better hope that planet has got a fucking, is a post-warp civilization, or they'll be breaking the fucking rules of the Prime Directive.
I'm pretty
There's
sure that's Earth.
You think it's Earth? I hope it is Earth. Actually, I really
think
want
it
it to be Earth.
Well, didn't they say in the future that where was her mom at? Was she on Earth?
I have no idea, but she
Neither
was a
do
red
I.
angel.
Yeah,
So
Michael's mom was. She said wherever she was, there was no life. That's why Michael gets excited when she gets there and she scans for life right away.
that's
So
where her mum went. Yeah, is that they went to the same timeline as her mum? Is that how it
Same
ended?
thing. Yeah.
So I think for a start, then she'll definitely meet her mum again. She'll have some aspect. She might be the MacGuffin in this to get them back in time. Who knows? But regarding like Discovery not seeing them in the past after they disappear, I mean, time. That's the thing with time travel. It doesn't matter. If that was the case, things change. Things change in a heartbeat. And so
Because also you can just throw time travel in there as just a convenient plot device anyway.
mhm.
I
And
mean,
then
I don't
they'll
want.
get
I don't want. I know Star Trek always has time travel, but I don't want tons of time travel. Like, if they're gonna bring them to the future, keep them in the future. Don't send them back in time. Don't. The only thing that I would be mildly okay with is if they try to go back in time, they miss their stop, and then they wind up in Picard time, like the turn of the century, 2400.
Yeah, like 2400 France or something like that, seeing a young Picard walking around.
No, 2400 France would be current Picard, because the year Picard season 1 took place in 2399. So, and I mean, I don't need a crossover. I'm just saying, like, I feel like there needs to be more Trek within the same universe. You know what I mean? Like, I feel there
same
doesn't
timeline,
huh?
the same sort of timeline.
Yeah, like, I mean, there doesn't have to be Picard and Discovery crossover, but I wouldn't mind
But
seeing.
we've got 4 shows now, which are like that. Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, and now Lower Decks.
I mean, I gotta admit, I'm if they keep it in the future and they do this right, I'm completely happy with it. I think we need to pull out of that immediate, from Kirk to Picard timeline. If they do it right, like I said, it could open up a whole nother.
But
venue.
here's the thing: is that Picard is more of a character study on Jean-Luc Picard. It's not to me, it's not a Star Trek show, and I like it, and that's good that it's not a Star Trek show. because it's something different. But then if Discovery goes back to like the 24th century, borderline, 25th, early 25th century, you can have like you can have this crew on a current ship of Starfleet. You can have crossovers with like Riker, or I mean, you know what I mean, just like people. Like I'm not talking about specifically Riker, but like you could have Admiral Janeway pop up. You could have they could visit Bajor, and you can have an old a much older I don't know what she would be at this point, but Kira Nerys show up. Maybe she's like one of a military admiral or whatever the Bajorans have. But I mean, like I don't need crossover between Discovery and Picard, but I would like things in that timeline where they kind of expand that timeline of the universe, because it's at least 30 years, 20 to 30 years after the end of Nemesis. So there's a lot of world building that we can do. And Picard is more focused on Picard, which is fine by me, but it's not very expansive. And then you got Brave New Worlds, which is based in the Pike era of Star Trek, which is before Kirk.
Oh, I wonder if they're going to be wearing the stupid uniforms they had back in that timeline, though.
They've updated it, but
cut you off, Cousin Cheeto.
Which one?
Back the Pike one. I was wondering if they were going to wear like the original Star Trek uniforms.
Actually, I like if you watch season 2 of Discovery, I like the way they did the uniforms on the Enterprise. I hate the Discovery uniforms, the blue with the little braid, whatever these things are on the shoulder.
They were more militaristic because of what they were dealing with the Klingons, which is why they were looking like that, I think.
Well, no, but in season 2, Pike even mentioned, he said, "Hey, we even got the new Starfleet uniforms."
Yeah.
Chris, I don't know, or Boogeyman, I don't know if you can bring up a picture of maybe like Pike with the yellow uniform on, but I really like the way they did the uniforms. I really like the way they did the uniforms back in season 2. They looked much better. They weren't just like long sleeve T-shirts like they were in the original series. They looked more Star Trek-y, but they weren't really jumpsuits. It was more like a suit, and I don't know.
By the way, do you think the spores are going to come back into play by the looks of things? Because we saw the.
I don't want any more spores. That whole spore thing needed to be left in season 1.
Well, it looks like it's going to be playing another active role, and that could be also a way of them time traveling, in my opinion. And I also hope to start to see a little bit more of the crew. We get to know them just a tiny little bit more, because I do like the format of this show. They're trying to be more like the 60s show regarding the crew, that there is crew there. They might speak now and again, a few words here and there, like they did with the original series, but it was mainly focused around 2 or 3 characters, Michael Burnham being one of them.
Yeah,
it'd be nice. Yeah,
I was just saying the less they focus on Michael Burnham at this point, the better off I think it is. I'm not. I mean, Burnham hopefully.
I have no problem. I just don't. She gets a lot of hate, and I can understand regarding the show of Discovery being one of the reasons why people have an issue with it, but not her. I don't think she's the main issue. She's just following the story and.
No, I don't blame the actor. The actor's fine. The character, the way she's written, the way that they've done her character arcs, they're just, and I mean, yeah, like Michael Burnham is kind of like the Rey Skywalker of Star Trek right now, and it's like, no.
No, I disagree. I totally disagree, because she's fucked up many a time. She's fucked up, man. You know what I mean? She's been to jail. She's been to jail and shit. She's been demoted. She lost her position and stuff. She's lost.
And yet somehow she still finds her way back in all these scenarios where she's.
If not, then we'll be watching a show of her being in the brig the whole fucking time.
They should have just put her in the brig and left her there, and then moved on to Lorca.
No, but they needed her. They needed her more than they realized. Unfortunately, they needed her when they had no choice, if I recall.
The only reason why they needed her was because her mom was in the suit, and her mom was tethered to her.
And I'm even talking back to season 1 when
no, I'm talking season 2.
Okay. I'm trying
and
to
listen,
remember.
I mean, I want a better Michael. It seems like what I've seen from the trailer that this is probably going to be a better Michael Burnham than what we've had, and I'm okay with that. Back to the uniforms right up here. So that's what the uniforms look like on Discovery season 2.
Love it.
I know. I think they look really
They're
good.
awesome. They're badass, man.
I don't know about badass, but it definitely looks a lot better than what they used
Pike
to.
looks like a badass, man. What are you about? He looks
Pike
awesome.
is dude. I love the actor who plays Pike, and I like
He
that
looks
Pike
fucking
season 2.
amazing, man. He looks like he's about to kick some ass right now. You know what I mean? Look at the fucking science officer on the right. Look at the fucking lieutenant behind him. You know what I mean? Look, they look badass. You know what I mean? The first officer behind him looked. Oh man, honestly. By the way, that's Rebecca. What's her face from?
No, that is not Rebecca Romaine. Rebecca Romaine wore a yellow uniform.
Is it? Oh, it's hard to tell with my sunglasses on.
Yeah, no, that's the security chief on the Enterprise.
Before
She's got like some kind of atmospheric thing that kind of comes under her, kind of like the Bolians.
Oh yeah. She ended up working on Discovery. She joined them, didn't she? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, she
I remember
did.
her.
She was on Discovery for a bit. Yeah, because
She got her ass kicked.
Number one was
yeah.
in charge of the Enterprise during the repairs during season 2. Pike took over on Discovery.
So here is a side by side of the old and the new.
Yeah, I like the. I mean, I get where they were going with the blue uniforms, but it's kind of a bridge between the new uniform, the Kirk uniforms,
awesome.
and the Enterprise uniforms. But
it's got an Eastern vibe. The yellow uniform, it reminds me of some of the outfits they wear in the Far East a little bit. I love it. I really do.
Yeah.
I love the different length in the collar, how it's presented. Oh, I would wear that at a fucking fancy dress happily. You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing is like with the blue uniforms, it's like you can't tell you can't tell what their, I don't want to say their discipline, but their department is. Like, I know that they do have very light, like different tints a little bit, like in the beading on the side and on the shoulders. Like it's I think it's like a yellow and a red and a blue, but it's so hard to tell. I could not tell that Michael Burnham was like a science officer, like based on her uniform forever in the show. I couldn't tell.
She looks like a fucking Thunderbird.
Chainmail she's wearing?
Is that what?
Is that friggin' chainmail she's wearing underneath that? Look at that. Look at that.
It's just part of the design. It's bullshit.
No, it's just a part of the design. As I said, I'm not a big fan of these uniforms.
Like I said, she looks like a fucking Thunderbird, man.
What ring fair did she escape from?
I honestly think it's a carbon fiber design. Looking at it, like kind of like
absolutely awful.
Protection.
I just think they were trying to go for something to merge the Enterprise time and the new age time. So it's like, because Enterprise had very blue uniforms, but they had like, the little colors right here to kind of signify what their department was or what their area was, like what red, blue, yellow. And I just think that they were trying to do something and I'm glad they're transitioning to the Kirk uniforms because, that's just not that first season. Those uniforms really bugged me.
Yeah, hi, it's Mrs. Butt Crimes. I have not seen anything of Discovery whatsoever. With the exception of the trailer that we just watched. And honestly, like, if it were for the little badge or whatever, and, the distinctive shape of, like, the Star Trek ships, which are kind of, they do kind of stand out from a lot of other sci-fi stuff. Like, I would honestly have just thought that this was just another generic space movie where someone gets marooned on a planet. It's like there really wasn't anything that made me that screamed at me that this was Star Trek. Honestly,
I can see that.
Well, I mean, that could be good and bad.
I mean, yeah, I'm not necessarily, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and I realize that they're talking about a series and not an individual movie. If this were a movie trailer, I'd actually be outright pissed because I'm just like, wow, you're feeding us like, tasteless putty at this point. But, It's like if you're trying to do a trailer for a series, then yeah, you're not going to be able to fit much in there. You're going to have to show all like the action scenes and so forth and leave it at that. But yeah, wow, this is super. This is just like every space movie ever. Wow.
I know it looks just like Dune.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a very apt comparison right there.
Oh my god! I was like, what is this
Because Dune just didn't impress me at all. Like I'm not trying to get into that but I mean I didn't really watch the first movie, and then watching the trailer for the new one, I'm like, no. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pull the reins in here a little bit. We do have a second trailer to watch. I almost forgot. Thank you, Boogeyman, for reminding me. We do have a second trailer to watch. I think what we should do on this one is we should just watch it and then talk about it instead of stopping in the middle. So, Boogeyman, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Okay. Okay. So, go ahead, Sam.
I just realized I had an epiphany or something. You remember when in the previous trailer when Michael Burnham heard that there's life on this planet still, and she went yes, and she was really happy. That made me realize that they knew they were crashing on Earth in the first place, and that's why she was happy to hear that there's still civilization on Earth. That's why she gave that sort of jubilation, happiness, because after 1,000 years, there's still civilization on that planet, on our home planet. No,
I find it. One thing I discovered from that new trailer was that the first couple episodes. I mean, I guess the first episode is probably going to encompass a year or so, because it kind of did that whole flash through the whole year where her hair was growing.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
And I mean, it technically has been a year since. It's been over a year since Discovery went into the future. So I think they're trying to. So probably the first episode is just going to be her, like the first is what happened in that year since Discovery went off. Season 2 went off the air last year. So and they're probably trying to keep it with an active timeline with real time.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. That would be pretty good. For them being marooned for a little while on that planet while they get their shit together. And then obviously they're growing and their hairstyles changing a lot. Yeah, I like the sound of that. But this trailer,
Like DS9 flashbacks for the from the Bajorans there, Zam?
Did you see Bajorans? I must have totally missed them.
No. The whole prophecy talk that you're speaking of.
Oh, sorry, my bad. No, I wasn't thinking that at all. But I just think generally the prophecy thing has been played out to shit. Even in science fiction, I just watched Dune the other day, the original Dune, and that went down the prophecy lark. Star Wars has fucking done it, not Star Trek. Please, I mean, and even they have done it as well with other shit, but not necessarily to do with the Federation. And they made it more plausible regarding the culture of the Bajorans. So there was a plausibility to it. This the way they've been going with Picard and this shit criticism, and I'm not feeling that at all. That's not how Star Trek should be, in my opinion.
So I kind of want to go. I want to kind of backtrack to something that Cheeto had said here about not knowing about kickstarting, or no, was it Zam that said it about kickstarting the Federation back off?
Yeah, that was me.
I mean, I think this scene right here at the second trailer, I think this answers that question right there.
That's why I came up with the idea, because of shit like that. Yeah. I'm thinking that.
No, I agree. Now seeing the second trailer, I agree. There's definitely remnants of the Federation out there, and him sitting there saying, "I've been waiting for you, Michael Burnham." It's like, here we go, Mary Sue Burnham.
Burnham sound with this again.
Where will you go?
Wherever the answers are.
Well, I mean, that just tells you right there that.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they're Burnham's. I mean, I don't mind there being a main character, but
hey, Megan.
Hey.
But I don't mind that. I just don't like the whole. Burnham has all the answers mentality. Like, and I'm hoping that the season is not like that. I mean, I want Saru to get plenty of character. I want all the characters on that bridge crew that have been there the past 2 years to get characterization, because a lot of them have not. I can't even remember, outside of Saru and Burnham, any of their names. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I really can't. Can you, besides Saru and Burnham, can you remember any other name on the bridge crew?
Lorca, because he left me, he made a mark on me, but he's
he
dead.
was a temporary character. He wasn't even.
We had that android woman died, and you got
Yep.
that girl with the fucking 7 of 9 fucking thing around her eye, and
yeah,
you
and
got
I
the
can't even
and you got
remember
the black
her name.
girl, and you got the black dude, and that's about it.
Yeah, you can tell when characters make a huge impact because Sam will say that person instead of their actual name.
No, but I mentioned earlier as well that they're trying to do what they did with the original series, where they're mainly focusing on like 2 or 3 characters the most, and the others are the Sulus and all that shit. But even back then, you might not have known their names when you first saw them. They've they garnered they grew during because of pop culture and the movies and stuff, in my opinion, and they had a little bit more screen time here and there in the odd episode. And some of these background characters, they are recurring, but very minimally, and I don't mind that. But I'm just hoping that we get a tiny bit more now, as we are in season 3, from these background characters. Flesh them out a little bit.
And here's the thing: I think Next Generation did well. Is they did, and I think did this in DS9 and sometimes in Voyager. They showed the crew. They showed their personal quarters, and I know that in this ship, I think they don't have like personal quarters, but. Like, think about it. With all the character, like when you would go to Worf's quarters, there's a character there. When you would go to Geordi's quarters, there's character. Picard, Riker, they all have like their own setup in their quarters.
His fucking trombone. Motherfucker loves his trombone.
Like all those people, when they would go to their quarters, and I mean that's where a lot of character, subliminally, a lot of character is built, because you see all these things that are from the, but I mean, we don't even see, like, I think we've only seen what in the first season we saw Tindy. Tindy's the other one. I forgot. There's a name from another one.
And the gay engineer guy and his doctor who's come back and all that shit.
Yeah,
they're more prominent characters, but you still got a few background guys who've come in and out, and you don't know their name and shit.
But Tindy and Michael's quarters together, because they were bunked together. I mean, that's the only time I ever recall seeing like personal quarters of somebody's. But I feel like that's an aspect that Star Trek has kind of lost, is that downtime. I mean, when you go to Worf, as I said, when you go to Worf's quarters, there was a lot going on. Even in DS9, when Odo's quarters was a big one, because he always had all the stuff sitting around. So because he was a changeling, and Cisco always had cooking equipment out. Because he was a chef. It's just, I think that
there's a restaurant. Yeah, I remember.
I'm sorry. His family were chefs, not just him. Yeah, but his entire family had like a really, really, I don't want to say high price, but it was a very well-renowned restaurant in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gumbo and all that bollocks.
I think it was called Cisco's, wasn't it?
I think so. But yeah, whenever he retired from Star Trek, he just he just took over the restaurant business, basically, which I thought was amazing. Which I thought was great, because it adds a lot of depth to that character.
When who? Cisco?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Cisco never technically left Starfleet. He got taken by the Prophet.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, when he I think he was on like a sabbatical for a while, and he went back to Earth, and he was working at and then they were doing like the changeling checks but that's all that stuff is characterization that we are not getting in Discovery. And that's really one of my big bones about this show, is that, I can tell you plenty about Michael Burnham. I can't, and maybe Saru, but I can't tell you crap about any of the other people. Even the chief engineer and his partner, like the medical guy, there's nothing like, okay. What's the things we know about him? One has spores in them. They're gay. They live together, or whatever. Like, that's it. Like, the only time I've ever seen them in their quarters is when they're brushing their teeth in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. There's no. That's what I'm saying. There's those subliminal character moments that they're really not, and that's why I'm saying that like Discovery needs to kind of take a step in the Trek direction, and even though even though Discovery season 2 was better, I still think it could be much better than what it is.
I agree. Regarding that thing with Benjamin Sisko joining the Force at the end of DS9.
Joining the Force.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, basically he did. He just more or less pulled a Yoda and just became one with whatever.
The prophets.
There was a Star Trek convention a few years ago in London where you had all the captains up to Enterprise there. So you had William Shatner, you had Patrick Stewart. Oh God, what was the name of the actress? I want to do them by their real names. What was the name of the actress?
Mulgrew.
Yeah, Catherine Mulgrew. Oh my God, I forgot the actor who does Benjamin Sisko.
Avery Brooks.
Avery Brooks, yeah, and Scott Bakula. So you had all the captains there, and I forgot which one mentioned it, but apparently they were trying to get a film off the ground where the four of the five captains get together somehow through time travel and shit to save Benjamin Sisko, to bring him back from the Force.
That's actually a book. Like that's based on a book. There is a book.
Okay.
There is a book where the prophets bring Benjamin Sisko back and bring. In the book, I don't think Archer was there, but I think the book was written before Enterprise came out.
Fair enough.
But yeah, there was Janeway, and there was Kirk, and there was Picard, and the prophets brought them all together, and they brought Sisko back, and it was only something that those four captains could do, whatever, fix whatever. I'd have to look it up. It's been a long time, and I might be wrong on some of the details, but.
So what kind of war crime did Janeway do this time?
Yeah, right.
Well, look, whilst all of them are still alive, and I know Shatner's hitting 90, and Picard's no spring chicken. None of them are fucking spring chickens. Nevertheless, get this shit done. Get this shit done now.
That's why you do Chris Pine.
You gotta get this shit done now while they're all fucking breathing before it's too late.
Oh,
Come on.
Look, I'm sorry. You don't want William Shatner on the screen. You don't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not the biggest Kirk advocate because he's not really even remotely my favorite captain. But Shatner is way too old. Get Chris Pine. Get young Kirk. And I don't care. Y'all can be like, y'all can shit on the Kelvin timeline.
You know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. That's a very good compromise.
Because Shatner, if it was maybe back 20 years, we might be like, Star Trek Generations time, or well.
But I want Shatner to still be in it in some capacity, not necessarily not like a Lando Calrissian in Rise of Skywalker capacity. So
they bring in old Kirk as
I just like for one moment. No, but just for one moment to have all of them there, it would be fucking amazing. Just to have all of them there, all the captains, both Kirks, Picard, Sisko, Janeway.
You would never have the Avery Brooks, the guy who played Sisko, will probably never come back for a Star Trek. From what I understand, he just wasn't happy with the way his character.
He's such a miserable fucker, isn't he, man? You know what I mean? When he was at that convention, he was so up his own asshole. It was sad. It really was. He's Avery Brooks.
He's not. Yeah. He's a bit of a diva when it comes to that.
Yeah. You can see it in his whole demeanor when he was sitting there with his fucking hat and his glasses and shit. He just needed one of those cigarettes with that long ass filter like the Pink Panther smokes, and he would have been the proper part. He had the shades on and everything. It's like fucking hell.
I mean, and the only thing I do agree with him on that he's come out and said is how his character was treated. I did not like the fact that Sisko went with the prophets at the end of DS9. I thought that was, in my opinion, that was the worst possible decision. I mean, I think Sisko should have retired. I think after that, Sisko should have retired to Bajor like he wanted to, built his house with Jake, and then him and Cassidy would, live happily ever after.
Maybe even open a chain of restaurants or something, because Sisko is really into cooking.
He
I
could
would have
open a
liked
chain of
that.
restaurants on Bajor. Cisco's on Bajor. I think that would have been the
That would have been great.
perfect ending for his arc. And no, they had to do this stupid crap with Ducat and the Pa Wraiths and then him going to be with the Prophets and leaving Jake and Cassidy. It's like he just got married like with 2 years ago. Like for real, like I just didn't like the way they left that. I know we're way off on the rabbit trail.
I agree because in my opinion that hinders Star Wars because by having him go off into the with the Prophets, he's no longer to be able to be used again as a recurring character. He's done. And who knows what Star Trek would have been like if he wasn't in that predicament, if he was still fucking breathing and doing shit, you know, around the
Well, the
universe.
Prophets can always bring him back for anything.
I know, but I'm just saying
agree
that if it didn't end like that, if it just ended with him still fucking doing like ended it with him opening a restaurant, at least you could bring him back for other shit. He could have been used in Voyager for fuck knows what. You know what I mean? But it never happened, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back on to Star Trek Discovery. I think I'm optimistically cautious on what we're going to get. I mean, I kind of like the idea of them rebuilding the Federation. I've always been a fan of. I did when I was younger. I always had this like fan fiction in my head for Star Trek, where there was a Starfleet a Federation civil war, where there was the Federate, and I know you guys are gonna love this. This is my like 12-year-old brain at work here. There was the Federation and there was the Confederation, and they were like, and
Sounds
then
like the fucking NWO and the Blood Pack. It's no
yeah,
different.
I mean,
This is
no, that was before I watched wrestling. So but anyway, but I mean, I always loved this idea of this civil war within the Federation. I think I got it from Babylon 5 because there was a civil war in Babylon 5, and I think that's where it kind of stemmed from. But I always thought that it would be this great, like this civil war where some planets take one side, other planets take other, and it's just this internal struggle between, the Federation, and then eventually just implodes in on itself, and the Federation becomes a thing of the past.
I know that I know of that. It's called the Star Wars prequels.
Well, this was even then I guess I was ahead of my time because
I'm taking the piss. I'm sorry. That was just me being an arsehole. I'm sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to be that much of an arsehole.
And honestly, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, I guess it would be kind of like the prequels because, I mean, the Separatists were just the member, like they were members of the Galactic Senate that just broke off, right?
Yeah, they pretty much
so,
did.
I mean, I guess you're right. It is pretty much. It's the prequel Star Wars ripoff Trek. There we go.
And they kind of did that with season 1 of Discovery a little bit with this war with the Klingons, which I didn't like them having to do. And my God, the retconning, or they even give a fuck about retconning, but them being thrown into the future. Well, we'll ignore all that shit now because we don't need to explain it. Even though it's only a few years before Klingons have fucking no ridges on their heads. But yeah, we'll just continue going on.
I thought the way they were going to explain that away is that like those Klingons, the one that they encountered, were like separatists from the Klingon Empire, and like they just had cut themselves off from the Klingon Empire, so they had no way of getting the disease that caused them not to have ridges. So I thought that would have been the way they did it, but no,
they were dealing with all the Klingons, and then boom, the moment that woman gave birth to the fucking prophecy kid or whatever, and bish bash bosh.
And then there was like a time distortion planet, and then the kid was old, and I'm like, oh gosh, stop it, please, God, stop it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like they went down. They're like, I am the sun, and I'm like, you're like 80. What happened? Like, oh, time flows differently here. I'm like, oh God, okay. Scott Bakula called. He wants his show back.
Yeah, he does. Well, look, you can see we've really gone on a tangent here. Regarding Discovery Season 3, I will watch it. I have seen the other previous seasons. I am curious to see where they're going, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far. They're going for this bland colour palette. You mentioned it looks like Dune. I think the new Dune trailer looks like fucking Chronicles of Riddick.
I
You know,
I don't even care about Chronicles of Riddick. So
there you go. But they've gone for this colorless color palette. You know, by
Oh,
the looks of
doing all
things.
earth tones and shit.
Yeah. So you could by the looks of things, but it'll be interesting. I really want, regardless of what they do and how they do it, just put a smile on my face. Make me enjoy it. Yeah, even if it's not what I want. If it makes me, if it's done well and I like it and it makes sense and it's very well written and well performed, then that's all that matters. You know, at the end of the day.
on that optimistic note from Zamario, I'm going to wrap it up. All right, so I'm going to go around the room now because I forgot to do this last time and Boogeyman called me out on it. But crimes. Anything you want to plug? Anything? How you feeling about season 3? I know you haven't seen any Discovery, so
Yeah, I haven't seen Discovery at all yet. I need to catch up on that. But
I will recommend you watching the second, like watch the whole thing. But the second half of season 1 is really good. I love the second half of season 1.
I like the middle part of season 1 more than anything.
yeah, I'll keep that in mind whenever I go to watch it. Right now, I'm still going back over Upper Decks, which I really, really loved.
Lower Decks.
Oh yeah, Lower Decks is awesome.
It's the best. It's the best. The most recent episode was one of the best bits of writing, as well as just a great. It's just so good. It's just
Started
so
to
good.
hype a completely different show, but yeah.
I don't mind
All right.
speaking about it for a brief minute. It was fantastic. You know, Lower Decks is the best Star Trek in years, and I do mean that.
I agree that it is very, very good. All right, Zam, you want to plug anything? You want to throw anything out there?
Yes, you can catch me on Twitch on www.twitch/TV. www.twitch.tv/Zamario01.
Just go to Twitch and type in the search Zamario01.
And you can do that too. Don't forget to join us on Facebook with Nerd Nation. Look for that logo. So there on the screen there underneath Star Trek Discovery Season 3 trailer. That's our logo there. Look for that on Facebook. Join us on that. We're always posting shit. Always talking about the latest shit. Video games, comic books, films. You name it. We talk about it. If it's nerdy, we are interested.
Boogeyman, what do you got?
So I'm going to make it easier for them to find you. Join our Discord. It'll be down in the info tabs for the YouTube, and I believe on the video as well.
It will be.
Cousin Cheeto, Zamario, nobody else has really come forward with me. Even myself, when we do Twitch, it'll pop up in there. When we do a YouTube,
yeah. Boogeyman really did a really good job at overhauling our Twitch, so that's actually a really good place to kind of connect with us and see any of our current content. For me, I mean, right now, me and my girlfriend have a Twitch. It's called Daydreamer24. We're gonna eventually change it once our 2 months is up to change the name. We're gonna be Milk Toast Gaming. We have a YouTube channel where we upload all of our playthroughs. Right now, my girlfriend's playing through Resident Evil. I'm right now playing through Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles and the Avengers game. Zamario loves the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles game. He's so excited to see me play it again. And that's it. So we're going to wrap it up. Please comment, like, subscribe, do all the things that you love to see us do. I think next week we might be doing a Star Wars podcast, or we might be doing more Trek. It depends on what is newsworthy. It depends on what we love. That's what we're here for. We're just here to talk about nerdy. And also, I was just sent a message saying that we're going to have a Twitter. So, yay.
Yay, Twitter.
Hey, let's get all the things. Let's make it public. Let's get it out there. Let's
Yeah, we could do Instagram maybe as well.
I'm gonna
start taking pictures of ourselves.
Some booty pics on Twitter. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, booty pics.
All right, y'all. So let's wrap it up. Let's say goodbye, everybody.